with NaVi, right? So that could also come into play as well.
Oh, speaking of the grand finals, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, and Oscar is going to baptize NaVi with some fire, but he's gone down, and Simple's also chimed in for a frag. This is back and forth, the seesaw of a pistol round. Electronic with 2 headshots. You called on him. You said it's one of his first endeavors out with NaVi, and he has had a pretty lackluster event thus far, so this would be one hell of a time to show up. But Sticko, he's got a whole bunch of clutches. And of course, he got that 1v4 ridiculous play here on Cobblestone earlier on. Different circumstances. He knows that Simple is up close. Hasn't been able to rattle off the head just yet. He does have a kit, so he's not in any great rush as of now.
Starting to lack on bullets, so
that is a good point. Going to need to reload. He still has 14 more in reserve and now a full magazine to play with. But he's going to get double peaked, and NaVi, they started quite poorly for them, but they came back.
Yeah. 2 quick frags to take out the entire A defense there. Very well done. Rop's obviously returning fire with 2 frags of his own. Electronic with that flank through drop, though, being the real difference maker. The fact that he's able to not necessarily just get Rops, as we see here, that's not necessarily the biggest frag. It's the one that he picks up on Chris J that really sets the tone for NaVi and allows them to get into a favorable late round scenario. Oh, Deagle's come out on Sunny. We saw what he was able to do versus Big yesterday on Mirage. It's definitely a threat. Pretty much everyone on this Mouseport side know how to handle that weapon. Chris, though, a little bit more laid back in terms of weaponry. Decided to go for some utility instead. And we know that both Oscar and Chris J would like to get to that green rifle as quickly as possible.
You better believe it. Of course, on Cobblestone, double ops, very much workable, especially in the hands of Mouseport, but they've already lost control over long A and mid. It is with Deagle, so the one-tap potential is still very much alive and well, and Sunny's going to put that to use with 1 onto Edward. They may not expect Rops at the back of the site, and especially as Chris J is trying to make a nuisance of himself from the balcony. If they focus too much fire, that could allow Rops to strike, but it's not going to happen. An Electronic with a double headshot is going to put NaVi into a 2-round lead. Sticko, in the best case scenario, is maybe to take a weapon out this round, but that's about it.
And even though it's EcoFrag's Electronics pick it up right now, that has to, kind of calm his nerves in a big way and make him feel at home, really, in this Grand Finals matchup. Obviously not an issue for a player like Simple. He seems to just be exuding confidence no matter what. Nice pickup there from Sticko. Managed to take down Flamey. Not going to be able to retrieve a weapon, but could actually survive with Kevlar intact and a P250.
Yeah, bit of money towards the next couple rounds for Sticko with the headshot, and also a saved Kevlar with the P250 wouldn't be too shabby. This gives them something to work with. But so far, so good for NaVi. Cruising to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah. And with the Deagle investment that we saw on, or the Molotov investment and everything we saw on Chris J, he's not going to be able to afford an off and the potentially first buy round unless they manage to win this round, which is very unlikely. But Oscar has managed his money properly. You can see he's sitting on 3K. So he does have the opportunity to wield a sniper rifle.
Oh, there's one play you don't really want to push into. It's going to be Simple. You expect him to lock down all these kills. The spray's on point. He's landing so much damage, and Zeus will finish off the rest. They do take down Edward, and ultimately a complete eco of a round. I think that only a flashbang was actually purchased through into it. So not too bad, but as you highlighted, Oscar now should be golden to pick up the AWP, although it's not going to be with many nades and probably glass cannon.
It's actually
does just scrape the Kevlar, but no nades at all.
Yep. And you can, depending on what kind of position you play, obviously if you were to go towards Plateau, you might want to have a flash or two instead of the Kevlar, so you can actually flush yourself into position. But playing A-Halls, just want to make sure that his aim doesn't get shook about as somebody tries to peek him. And obviously we've seen Simple have a lot of activity towards these A-Halls mid-area initially as well, and that's going to be a massive battle for both teams. Who can come out ahead, Simple or Oscar?
The downsides, though, for Mouseport, they've gone for firepower over any kits as well. Could be an issue if NaVi start to make inroads on either of these sites.
Retakes on Cobblestone is surprisingly tough. Normally you have one bomb set that is easier to retake than the other. On Cobblestone, it feels like both of them are a bit of a nightmare.
Oh, yeah. And very large rotation times as well, of course, between the two sites.
Yeah. It gets so easily blocked out. Rop's not going to be able to capitalize on the first man he spots. That's Zeus dropping out a window.
just too many angles for him to watch out for because obviously had a couple players up on the window as well. But Chris J is going to find Zeus through the doors and will dispatch of him. So an even trade. But you can see that NaVi, they have so much map control. They're actually choking out any potential of a rotation. They have all mid all day. Oscar, though, is going to miss that shot uncharacteristically. It's going to cost him his life and cost his team the A bomb site. This round's done.
It is. It's very well done by Edward there. Find Sunny. In a situation where Sunny wins out that battle, that obviously allows for Oscar to keep track of what's going on through doors there. And with, I think it was Stico, who was on a bit of a long rotation for Mousesports there. That could have really spelled disaster for NaVi, but Edward just gradually getting better and better as the tournament goes along. Had a very rough start, obviously, especially if you go back to that Gambit series, Gambit game. Felt like a series, though, with how long it went.
Oh, yeah.
But he's been getting into it.
And there are best of threes that have started and ended in the time it took them to get done with that one map. How long it was.
Stico peering over the smoke, not able to see Flamey just yet, though. Flamey dangerously close to putting some bullets into the head of Stico here as well. So toying with fire here, the Mousesports players. But instead, it's going to be Zeus making his way down drop with that MP9, just racking up the cash. And also creating a lot of space for NaVi to work with.
Of course, if he was to fall, no huge problem. MP7 against armor. He's still potent, but certainly not quite as powerful as likes of an AK.
And NaVi just keeping the same approach as they've done pretty much all tournament with their T-side play. Slow and methodical. See, even with the man advantage, knowing that they're going up against an eco round, just taking their time, moving as a group, and that's nice to see. And as you mentioned, even though Zeus goes down there, he's kind of done his part already. It's not the biggest get for Mousesports to pick up that MP7.
Yeah, he was expendable through and through. And now Chris J's going to try and use the MP7. Actually, pre-firing around the corner will yield him a kill, but probably not good enough for Mousesports to get back into this round. I say that as Stico drills a one-tap, the Juan Dig into Simple's forehead. And now this does give him a little bit of wiggle room. They've also picked up an AWP from the corpse next to APC. Simple is going to be dead and buried, and now it's up to Sunny with his Desert Eagle. He's already landed a one-tap. Electronic, this is where you really want him to show what he's capable of doing, and he's going to do just that, waiting for the right moment to pluck out Sunny as he looks to push through, and that's going to be a very comfortable start for NaVi, 5-0 in the lead.
Yeah, yet again, Electronic showing up with some big frags here. 8-0 already, so yet to die. Only player actually on the server who's yet to die so far. So great start for the debutants.
Yeah, no arguing with that score at all. Mousesports have at least got kills in these last few rounds, but that's not really good enough. However, double AWPs in play for Mousesports. You know they want to go to this as soon as possible. This is such a heavy investment. And if they were to lose this, I mean, they're right back against the wall again.
Yeah, you can tell how passively NaVi have set up Simples up in the Princess Tower at the start of the round. They've not moved closer at all. I want to see if Mousesports throw out some aggression. They do actually as well. Stico moves up on B Plateau. One of the toughest spots to actually kind of just hold off as a CT in an aggressive stance. Oscar just patiently waiting on the corner of A-Halls. Again, it seems like drop room is a point of interest for NaVi here.
And so far, Mousesports haven't really done anything to deter them from continuing this pressure. It's being applied and there's been no alleviating forces.
The great thing for NaVi right now, with the time they've expended, it's allowed for Mousesports to waste away pretty much all of their utility. Only Chris J with the smoke left. Sunny has a flash, so any sort of potential retake as well is going to be that much harder. Unless Mousesports are just able to beat them with firepower.
Less than half a minute to play with now, though, for NaVi, and no player has fallen as of yet. Now, we've been here before where they've timed themselves out, most notably against Gambit, but they are pushing the site that is definitely weaker. And it's going to be Oscar pretty much by himself. And he's got long presence and mid. The call will come through. They know it has to be this site, but there's less than 10 seconds. If Oscar lands any of these shots, it may be good enough. We are down to the burning embers of this round, and it's going to be a frag into a bomb plant. NaVi, by the skin of their teeth, hold on. And now it looks as though they will also claim this round. But my goodness, NaVi, that is leaving it so late. Sticko is going to keep the dream alive here, though, in round 6 to put Mousesports on the map finally. Nearly picking up a second onto Simple. And wouldn't you know it, Simple just pushes with 17 health.
Why not?
Not a play you expect, but hey, he's Simple. Logic doesn't apply sometimes.
Well, he can do what he wants at this point. He's pretty much been having his way with everyone in this tournament. Christian, though, will be lucky enough to survive with an op. So there is opportunities to do some damage here still for Mousesports, even though not going to be fully equipped or anything near the sort. But again, well played by NaVi, managing to use the time to their advantage, allowing for Mousesports not really to have anything to hold NaVi back as they push up towards the bomb site. But as he said, if Oscar just lands one shot from that position, that's probably game over for NaVi. And Oscar usually sinks those shots as well. He's been missing a lot of uncharacteristic shots up till this point, but he's going to be given a new chance. Op gets dropped over from Christian to the Czech player.
And Oscar is one of those kind of guys that you're looking at to perform, because he is ultimately going to be counteracting the counterweight to Simple.
Yep.
If he has a poor performance here, Simple could just take over.
I guess one thing to keep in mind is that Oscar, it was the one to start off with a poor performance in the first game that Mousesports had this tournament, but it really came alive later on. But they definitely can't afford him to go completely off the wayside here if they want to have a shot at winning Sticko. With the aggressive move. It's not spotted out Simple. Oh, there we go. He's actually going to find a double as well. Flamey and Simple gone, removed from the server this round. Sticko with the aggressive play on B plateau, all by his lonesome as well. It's going to pay off massively. Well, gets out of dodge.
The timing there for Simple was brutal. As he crouched, Sticko pushed out the smoke.
Yeah.
And you don't expect someone to be close to the boxes on the left-hand side from his perspective, so Sticko made the most of it, and he's going to pick up a third, looking for a fourth, will land it. He's actually on for the ace, and he's got the play just dead ahead of him, but Edward will deny that from happening. However, Sticko can hold his head high for a 4K, should be putting Mousesports finally with a round on their belt. And there's Chris J with the headshot. He's going to be able to dart in and pick up the AWP as well. Welcome, Mousesports.
Finally on the scoreboard off the back of Sticko. No hat today. We'll see if that is a good sign or a bad sign, but so far so good. Picking up that massive, massive 4-kill round to set Mousesports off to a potential comeback here. NaVi though, not really hurting for money at this point with a 6th round initial lead.
But maybe a declaration of intent that we're not seeing an AWP in the hands of Simple. Full AKs, already looking to push onto B long. A few smokes and Molotovs stop them for the time being, but drop control is being assumed, and the frags are going their way. On top of it, Flamey comes straight through onto the kill on Sticko, but Chris J at the back of the chicken coop is going to do what he can. He's going to get plucked out by Electronic. He was basically screwed as soon as that Molotov landed. Electronic with 2 kills in quick succession has put a blistering halt to this comeback attempt. Wow, Oscar. Okay.
I feel like that's something that would tilt you off the face of the planet.
How about we all just calm down for a second, Oscar, all right? Oh, that's a rough miss. It's probably going to cost him dearly. Simple will push again for a 2K. But, I mean, there was nothing particularly unique about that play. It was just an all-out push on B. They get the entries. Job's done.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Flamey finding the first frag, and Electronic once again finding 2 kills. He's been doing very, very well for himself, as you can see, topping the scoreboard here with 11 frags. Simple, obviously not far behind, but Electronic was a bit of a question mark going into this, given his performance so far in this tournament, but seems to be finding himself in a very comfortable spot. Oh.
So, just to highlight this, I'm pretty sure Simple doesn't have a main weapon, and he has nearly 10K in his back pocket. So he's just going, I'm going to Desert Eagle this round.
But I have a feeling he has something left in spawn or something, because he's running back there to look for weapons. I'm not really sure what happened. It's definitely not a part of the plan, though. I mean, by all means, he's a confident guy, but I don't think he's feeling that confident this early.
I will deagle for the rest of this best of 3.
Yeah.
Chris J, though, is going to spray down 2. Sticko is trying to help his teammate out, but he's already fallen down. Zeus, it's going to be such a rough fight, but it's going to go the way of NaVi. You feel like It probably should have been Mouzesport shutting it out before it even got into a 2v2 scenario. Simple is low. He's going to pick up the AK from one of his fallen comrades. No longer an issue, just the Desert Eagle. As Sunny will dispatch of him. Zeus, 1-on-2, not going to happen. Oscar stands tall with the AWP. Mouzesport will pick up his second.
Again, just solid crossfire setup from Mouzesport in that scenario. Chris J finding 2 frags is probably one more than he should have been able to get, but Seiko playing up and down those stairs buys a ton of time for Rops to come in and contribute with a kill. So even though Seiko doesn't end up with a frag that round, still does his job in that sense. He only had a P250 as well going into it, which is a constant nuisance and a worry really for NaVi to have to focus on. And Mousesport's bring it right back. So that does reset the NaVi squad. Again, not hurting for money just yet, but Edward is starting to run low. And Simple and Electronic pretty much the only ones with a healthy bank at this point. And Simple goes right back to the op. No more Deagle shenanigans.
Oscar, we saw him earlier in the tournament actually consistently push mid and try and get picks, and he had pretty good success with it. So NaVi trying to counteract that as much as they can. Simple now is going to be afforded a bit of space, trying to wall bang up towards mid. There is a player there, but not quite where he's aiming. That's a lot closer.
Still not connecting, though. Still opportunities as Sunny constantly shoulder peeking here.
Chris Shea is going to push aggressive. We saw Sticko do this earlier, using that smoke to his advantage. Going to throw another smoke, but the trajectory of that, they know someone's up close.
Yeah, there's no way to actually get that smoke in from a different position, pretty much.
Exactly. So Flamey knows. That's hence the pop flash.
Hence pre-fire spam as well. But Chris J probably understood his, not necessarily a mistake, but his move is not going to be fruitful if he stays around. Decides to back off. I guess it does put a bit of a halt to NaVi, but NaVi already playing a pretty slow game. They have congregated towards the B area, though.
Oh, Rops needed to land that. As soon as the Mag 7 shot missed, his life was forfeit. And now unless Chris Shea can pull off some last-ditch heroics, it's looking like NaVi are going to barrel onto the site once more and claim another round for themselves. Mouzesport have just been unable to get any kind of a stranglehold over their economy or the map. So you expect a save to come in and see if they can bounce back in round 11, but this one's done.
It's been tough for them to find any sort of information as to what NaVi are doing. And that's, again, one of the trademarks of Zeus-led NaVi teams is that they're extremely slow, but they're really, really good at denying information from the CT. So even though they want to play aggressive, they don't necessarily get any vital information to actually work with. They've been doing a good job of actually denying Oscar or Sunny to actually get active peeks in mid, to find an early pick, or actually be able to walk forward, grab map control. Same thing goes with how they're set up towards the B area as well. Mouzesport, though, will stay alive with 3 members for now. So it's not all doom and gloom. We saw them being able to grab one more round back with lesser weaponry than what they have in their hands right now.
That's certainly true. Saving 3 weapons is normally the threshold to be able to drop a couple. And with this kind of weaponry, you expect that they will go all in on this round, Mouzesport. I mean, they may not get another opportunity like this for a while.
Yeah.
And the other thing as well is, well, simply put, there's only 5 rounds left of this half. You can't really play for the long game anymore. You've got to get rounds now.
Yep, that's accurate. Mousesport's decided to talk things over here with a tactical pause. And as their money situation looks right now, Oscar does have the money to potentially even drop an AWP for Chris J, and he could go towards the B bomb site with that. Or just a Colt, and you get some extra utility to work with as well. But I would imagine that, I think it's Sunny. Actually, no, it's Robs who might want to have to fall on the grenade right here and deal with lesser weaponry. He's going to get a FAMAS, actually. But again, not the most utility on the side of Mouzesport, and with NaVi's slow-paced style, this could very well become an issue.
Oh, yeah.
The 2 rounds that Mouzesport have picked up has pretty much been down to the fact that they've been outgunning NaVi, and, well, Simple's definitely not allowing for that to happen once more.
I mean, the issue is that Mouzesport have pushed players up B long so many times, and of course, it was Simple that met this Demeister Sticko earlier in that same spot. So this time he's not going to be waiting. This time he's on the alert. He knows what could be coming up against him. Chris J's peak is going to cost him dearly, and Oscar's gone down as well. They came through in the round with 2 orbs. Both of them have been taken from them. And Mousesports continue to struggle. I mean, one of the most impressive things to me about this is obviously Simple, you kind of expect him to perform. Electronic has been impressing me this game so far. He's been doing a solid job.
He's been really good, actually. And don't think you can disregard what Edward's been doing as well. Finding multiple vital frags.
Oh, not this again. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Edward has a better grip of it than what Zeus had on Inferno. But a bit of a gamble coming up from Mouseport here slowly. And this is what they need to do, really. Just bank on one bomb site. If they don't go there, then you have the opportunity to save. If they do end up here, you still have a fighting chance.
Nice try, Sonny.
Gets one. It takes up Simple, which is obviously a big get, but at this point, you kind of need more.
Drops insta headshot. Bombs also drops. There is maybe a glimmer, but no. Rops has lost his support in Sticko, and as soon as Sticko dies, they can all focus him. He only had about 18 health, living on borrowed time. 9 and 2. This is getting into dangerous territory now. This is just spiraling out of control.
It really is. I guess it's going to be interesting to see whether or not NaVi have an improved CT side as well. Obviously, in the past, very different players, very different lineup. They were a team that were notorious for having pretty terrible CT sides on a map like Cobble, and they haven't necessarily been too impressive with their CT sides so far on multiple maps, really, of this tournament. So that's still something that could be a bit of a worry for them, but right now, things are looking really good for them. Mousesports obviously would have liked to gotten up to 6 rounds or so to have a bit of a leeway to work with going into the second half, but Flamey finds Sticko. And the 4 remaining players only with pistols, no armor.
Just a Desert Eagle, that's it. And it is in the hands of Sonny. Yesterday in particular on Mirage, he was a beast, but he hasn't been able to reclaim that form that saw them dismantle big. I think it was 16-3 in the end of Mirage.
Yeah.
Could have, to be honest, it could have been 16-0.
That was one of the most brutal games we've seen in a while. Extremely one-sided. Oh, the aggressive push comes up. Zeus recognizes the danger, falls back into a safer angle, and meanwhile, Electronic has already dropped down, cleared out Oscar, and the 3 remaining Mousesports player over at B have nothing really they can do and say about this A-take about to come in from NaVi.
Well, speaking of the bat, he is peering up B long with his Deagle, but the bomb is already in hot pursuit of the A site, looking for a new home. And it will find it momentarily due to the loving hands of Flamey.
Zeus not falling for the temptation of hunting after frags here. Decides to just back off plate safely. NaVi are just all over, having a very, very solid performance. Not many mistakes being made. I think the closest we could have gotten to a mistake was probably the 1 round towards A, where they let the clock run down in a big way. Still managed to win that round, of course, though. Surprisingly, though, Mousesport's not necessarily interested in actually setting up for exit frags either. I mean, NaVi have no real reason to actually go for any extra frags here unless, you know, they want to pad some stats. Maybe Simple in his case, because he's got an MP7, wants to get a bit more of a bank. There's not a whole lot to bring home into the next round, and Simple's just going to find everyone regardless. Why not? So, additional money to an already healthy bank account on Simple's end. And some added confidence. 16 frags on Simple as of right now.
Exquisite work. Bullying Mousesports into submission. No AWPs. Mousesports, I always feel that when they don't have an AWP on their side, they are significantly hamstrung in the process.
I guess the one shimmering, glimmering hope right now is the fact that the AWP hasn't really had any sort of impact for them up to this point, so can't be much worse with all rifles either. But again, low on utility. NaVi are probably just going to take their merry time to actually move forward here. Edward over towards the A halls, probably going to set up with the default flashes and smokes, what have you, to make Oscar fall back, and here we go. NaVi just tightening that chokehold they have on Mousesports.
Simple typically is played on the other side of mid. This could maybe throw NaVi through a loop, but again, you feel like with this lack of utility, they have no kits. It's going to have to come down to some mad individual effort.
Yeah, it's pretty much what's gotten them to 2 rounds on the board they have right now.
Ops is left a little bit vulnerable here because Oscar decides to go down mid and help Sonny out. Instead, goes for the peek, does get the kill into Zeus. Did eat a bit of damage in the process, but that's a worthwhile endeavor.
Timely flash, though, to stagger NaVi's push, so they will get up mid and actually be able to help out Rops here.
Didn't really affect Oscar. And with another flashbang being thrown in stables, NaVi now in a bit of a pinch and not in a great spot. Electronic is pushed away from the rest of his team while that smoke is still in play. Simple is going to show his head, will get taken off his shoulders. One of Mousesport's best chance in rifle rounds has now been gifted to them. But Flamey comes in for a kill and is looking for a second one, not far off the headshot. Finally lands onto Oscar, but there's Sticko. Mousesports will pick up a third. It's at the cost of 3 players' lives. But they get it done.
As you mentioned, we're getting into the late territory of the first half, so we can't really be that demanding that you require 3 players to stay alive. At this point, Mousesports just need rounds. 2 more to close it out would still make for an okay-ish first half, especially considering how things played out initially. They have to be happy about that. But it's been a hard-fought struggle for Mousesports to get anything on the board, anything going. They've been reset every time they've won a round as well. Let's see if the theme continues. Oscar playing forward here towards A-Halls. 3 NaVi players sat behind that.
Once again, Oscar going to be flirting with danger. Smokes, backs away. However, Mousesports, even though they just won the last round, you can see that in terms of weaponry, they are way behind NaVi still. That is always the price you pay when you've been dismantled on the first half, especially on the CT's perspective. So Max 7 for Rops, saw him use it in drop earlier, didn't have any success with it. Still have a few nades to play with, but still just shy of a minute on the clock for NaVi. Plenty of time for them to move into position. Oscar's not going to be able to peek now that that Molotov's gone down. Sunny in a similar position that Rops is in last round, but Oscar is going to drill Zeus, alleviating some of the pressure now, forcing NaVi out into the open on long, but they're simple. Smoke onto doors is going to stop anyone from pushing alongside the smoke on balcony now. This bomb will get planted. The one saving grace is maybe Oscar, who's came around the back, but they knew he was around there. He was the one Mousesports player that got the frag, and he was last seen in mid. It's looking like deja vu. It's looking like NaVi are going to get to 11 rounds.
It's going to be a really rough retake. Timing works in the favor of Mousesports, though, as Chris J and Sticko combine to find an Electronic, but still a lot of NaVi players to find.
Problem is, even though they've got kills, the positions now for NaVi are just too strong, and Flamey and Edward will chime together and get the important clutch. 11 rounds on the T-half, and they're not done just yet.
Oh, they really aren't. And Mousesports there getting caught out. Sunny spotting down mid to see if there's anyone else trying to run down Oscar. Gets caught out in a really bad position. Makes it easy for Flamey to find the first frag, and then just monsters way up on site.
Oh, this last buy.
It's not what you like to see. And again,
they're simple.
Yeah, through the smoke, through the wall. Sunny goes down, and already it's going from bad to worse for Mousesports here. They're going to have to hope to get real lucky here through the smoke, connect some shots that you're not supposed to. They want to have a fighting chance here. And NaVi are probably just going to keep the same approach as they have for the better part of the half. I think we've only seen 1 quick round out of NaVi up to this point. Outside of that, it's just been cool, calm, and collected. Edward continues his good form as well, finds Oscar in A-Halls, and that pretty much removes the entire defense from A. Obviously, NaVi not having any idea of this just yet. It does force a rotation as well, and if you're Mousesports at this point, well, Sticko finds the Electronic, and Chris J finds Zeus as well, so there's a little bit of hope being garnered here.
Maybe another couple of twists yet in this round, Ven.
Yeah.
Not quite over just yet.
I was about to say, like, if you're Mousesports in this kind of scenario, you would like to stack up, and Chris J, well, he doesn't need any teammates apparently. It removes Flamey, and all of a sudden, it's Mousesports ahead in manpower.
He was thinking of rotating across to A, but we have the benefit of seeing the bomb is still in B long. So at this point, Edward's just trying to fake. He's trying to draw out Chris J. He's trying to draw out any players on the CTs on B, and it's working. And to make matters worse, Edward's going to go down, but Simple can just traipse across to the site, and he is a clutch master. He is in such good form. Very few players on this planet could go toe-to-toe with him right now. He is a bit weakened, but he's deciding to push up aggressive, taking the fight to the CTs. Rops and Sticko don't have any more utility. They've expended the 1 flashbang. They're going to be lining up together, but Sticko lands the frag, and Simple will not be able to clutch this time around.
So Mousesports are just winning rounds in the most unlikely ways right now. And they have to thank their lucky stars for that as well. 4 rounds. Not a whole lot to work with, but we've seen it being done before. That's actually usually how NaVi won their Cobble games. If they got to 4 rounds on the CT side, that was all they needed. We'll see if that rings true for Mouz Sports as well, but definitely an extremely solid half from the side of NaVi. Much better than I anticipated.
4 rounds does give them a little bit of wiggle room, though. It does allow them, if they can pick up the second pistol, again, coming into this game, they had better pistol stats. If they can take the second pistol, maybe, just maybe, they can mount a comeback. And we've already seen NaVi choke from vast leads in this event.
That's definitely true, but I think for this to be reality, or potentially a reality, Oscar is going to have to come alive in this match. Been extremely quiet over towards that A side. Didn't really connect with anything at all with the op. And that's definitely something they need, especially when, you know, the one question mark on NaVi's side, Electronic there in your frame,
like
he's really kind of showing up.
It's like in some crazy fragging trance for a second there.
Yeah.
A bit worried for my life.
Ended up the half with 14 frags. Gets surpassed by Simple, but, you know, no shame in that. Seemingly everybody is getting surpassed by Simple, is already sitting on 20 frags. But Electronic definitely having a ton of impact frags early on to get NaVi going off to that great start.
Full Kevlars. NaVi not bothering with any utility. No kits.
That's for weaklings.
Just supreme confidence. They're like, we'll win every single duel. You're not going to get to the site. You're going to die before then.
Yeah. Well, Chris J is going to take the tactical approach with a smoke and 2 flashes. Wouldn't be surprised to see if that's going to be connector smoke. And Mouz Sports have made their way quite far up mid here, so Simple might be in for a rude awakening.
There's a lot of different angles to watch out for. There's the first kill. Narrowly misses out in the second. Only 3 bullets left. Not going to matter. Chris J will silence him. Zeus, though, from the balcony is wasting valuable time, allowing the rest of his team to wrap around the site. Plus, Edward is going to be coming around the back of mid. So each second that NaVi waste puts them into good position. Even though the bomb's been planted, even though they don't have a kit, they do have the man advantage. It's going to need to remain the case, though. Oscar is actually pushed up on the APC. This skews with the headshot angle you'd normally be looking at from balcony, but it doesn't matter. The rest of his team are falling down, and Sunny's going to get picked off from behind. NaVi concede the bomb plant. Doesn't matter a tiny bit.
Make it work nonetheless. And I think the one issue that Mouz Sports ran into there is that obviously Oscar and Sunny end up in positions that pretty much try to cover the same angle. And it's a tough decision to make right then and there, but I think Sunny has to play more aggressively and be more active because Oscar's stuck between a rock and a hard place. There's no real way for him to actually move into a different spot without getting either taken down from mid or a small room or actually balcony. So he just has to kind of stand his ground and fight. And Sunny, though, yet being spot out, needs to do more to help Oscar out in that kind of a situation. Nonetheless, so NaVi get off to that start. So that's both pistols.
Very true.
Right now, though, AK, we've seen this more and more from multiple teams, actually. Just buying up that 1 AK for your heavy hitter, and Robson has been having a fantastic event so far. It's been going to work.
I mean, he really is the raid boss, considering nobody else has any investment at all. Just an AK and a Soul Kevlar and 4 Glocks.
Oh. And just Chris J, actually, who has donated that AK as well. He's down to 0. Rob's not going to be able to win out the duel.
Oh, you hate to see it. They finally get a kill, but they're not able to salvage the weapon that Rops dropped or that Edward also lost. And Flamey comes in with a double spray. Sticko, dead man walking, will be executed by Electronic. And we discussed at length about how important it was for that second pistol to go the way of Mouz Sports if they want any chance of bouncing back. Well, now they are down into their last chance territory.
Wow. And with the bomb plant in the first round and no real investment on anyone outside of Rops, buying Kevlar and Chris J buying that AK for Rops. They're going to decide to buy up here. They know they're so pressed for time and pressed for rounds that they need to get back into it early on. And obviously with this kind of an early buy, it does allow them to potentially reset NaVi as well. As they have gone up to predominantly rifles. Simple obviously wielding that AK from last round.
Maybe something for the desk to touch on. I'm curious how many kills Simple has in this event so far. It must be close to 200.
Like it's close to 1 million at this point.
Well, he's going to go down not able to add an extra notch on that belt. Chris J, Rops, and Sunny trying to labor their way into a round. And of course, they came through in this one 2 CZs, but they're able to pick up AKs from their fallen teammates because though Sunny is low.
Edward's in a really solid position as well there, perched up on the boost. Mainly because it's not necessarily the first place you actually take an active angle towards as you move in towards mid as a T. So that's going to allow Edward to get enough time to get at least one frag in that kind of a situation. And Electronic is posted up close enough to actually be able to respond to this, or at least was. He moves over towards drop zone, but we can see Mousesports players still circling about that A area. So far 2 players in mid, and they have to hope that they can get a trade here if Edward's able to find one frag. Oh, gives away his position. Still going to find the frag, though. Drops down. Up to 15 HP. Won't get taken out by Chris, but we talked about it. That's pretty much all he needed to do, though. But Sunny taking out Electronic as he peers down mid. That's going to be the real game, but low HP.
Very low. If Flamey...
Is he just going to wander through the smoke? He is.
And he's going to get the first kill as well. There's not much time. He's got to stick on the bomb, Chris J. And as soon as he peers up, it's going to be Flamey to knock him back down again. 10-round lead coming in. Mousesports at least got the bomb plant, but I mean, that's really looking at things optimistically. This has been dark. It's been dreary.
It's been brutal. They're getting the big treatment right now that Mousesports were handing out on Mirage yesterday. Definitely a whole lot not working in their favor. You have to credit NaVi for that, though. This is more NaVi doing well than Mousesports doing poorly. Obviously, you can talk about Oscar not necessarily having that good of a game. Same thing for Rob's. Actually been fairly quiet so far.
Oscar's only got 5 frags.
Yeah, none in the second half. And obviously, that is a bit of an issue for Mousesports, but I'd rather focus on NaVi's well-being and well-doing. Now we're going to see a quick round for Mousesports right out onto the B bomb site, with Flamey as their first bastion of defense. Will eventually get taken out by Rops, but damage has been done. Rotations are coming in from NaVi's side, and Electronic just chiming in as well.
Sunny's doing work though here, Ven. He's already picked up 2. He's brought them back into a 2-on-2, and now Rops is going to try and light up with a Galil. Another 1-for-1 trade. Sunny against Simple. I know who I'd personally be betting on, but Simple has mind-gamed himself. He's going to go to A. In fact, I think he's very much aware of what's about to happen. He just wants to make the fast rotation all the way around the back of B.
Yeah, this is pretty unexpected if you're Sunny. Only thing that Simple has to be careful of is how much time he actually spends rotating off. And Sunny, actually going to head over to the plateau as well. He seems to have an inkling as to what's coming around the corner.
Come down to timing, and Simple will drop Sunny. I mean, it's kind of dual purpose for Sunny there. On the one hand, obviously, if he goes for the fast rotation, you're in position. If not, the bomb was planted for him, but he's just looking away at the worst possible seconds.
Oh. There you have it. Simple just continuing his good form, picking up a 2K there, and also winning the 1v1 clutch. And that puts NaVi on map point. I was definitely expecting to see more of a fight being put up from Mousesports here on this first map, but NaVi have just been dominant from start to finish. And again, you're seeing Simple nearing that 30 bomb territory. At this point, it feels just like business as usual, really, which is crazy to say.
Molly into the peak. Rops is going to come head-to-head with a Molotov of his own, however. It's going to stop the push for the time being. Smoke down 2. And nothing particularly out of the ordinary so far on this setup. Mousesports just trying to feel their way into some weaknesses, and well, Sticko is going to find out firsthand that middle is not weak at all. He loses his life. We're perched up on platform. Mousesports just seem to have lacked that piercing attack on their T side thus far. They haven't really offered too much. It's been Sunny landing some crazy entries, and that's about it, really.
It has been obviously not optimal bias on the side of Mousesports because they are pressed for rounds. So just trying to get away with a quick one, really. Resetting NaVi with that 3rd round buy, even though they did drop an AK in the 2nd round for Rops. So they're not going to have the utility that they like. That's the last Molotov going out as well. Now it's going to be really tough for them. We'll set up for a smoke execute here with the 3 remaining smokes. Sunny already down in drop room. This has to work perfectly for Mousesports if they want to have a shot at this.
All it takes is one false step, one slip up, and this map is over. Flamey's got flash, but he's able to stay in position. And he's also got Edwin in alcove. They're not going to check him. Not able to transition across for a double spray, but he's seen the bomb down, and now Flamey will do the rest. Sunny, probably the standout player for Mouz Sports for me. But he's got a 1v3 up against him, and Flame